when you're playing and you're improvising, you've got all this stuff to think about, right? You're thinking about what the chord is, what the chords are, what the key is. You're thinking about what chord is being played at what time. Like right now it's this chord, now it's this chord, right? And how do I find notes that fit those chords as they move? And by the time that you finally figure it out, now, oh, that chord's over, we're on to the next one already. So this time is, you know, it's a matter of trying to figure all this stuff out. This is, again, goes back to this part, it's just how fast your brain works, okay? It has nothing to do with how smart you are, okay? So if we took an IQ test, if I took an IQ test and you took an IQ test, I wouldn't be surprised if we scored about the same or you scored even higher or whatever. It's not about me being smarter or you being smarter. It's just a matter of how much conscious stuff do we have to hold in our brains at once, okay? There's so much to think about. What we want to do is eliminate the stuff that we have to do on conscious levels, all right? Like when you first started playing guitar, you had to look at this hand, then you looked at this hand, and then you checked this one again, and checked this one again, and then you played it, and it sucked, so you tried it again, and it was better. Okay, well, that's like 5 seconds. All right? Well, you don't do that anymore. You're past that. So all the conscious stuff of, here's how I hold the pick. I know I can feel where the G string is, and I play the G string, and I know that I'm on the 4th fret. I can feel that now, because I know I was on the 3rd fret before, and I don't have to look again. You know, you're past having to consciously focus on it. Okay, you've already surpassed that. Okay, well, what you're struggling with now is just getting to the next levels. Okay, what are the chords? What are the key am I in? Do I know where the notes in the key are? Am I past that where I have to really consciously focus on it, or do I kind of know now where they're at? All right. For example, when you saw Pete improvising yesterday, okay, you asked him if he was. Somebody asked him if he was improvising all that or not. And he gave an answer that really wasn't a good answer. It wasn't really an accurate answer. I could have answered it better for him, and I'm going to do that now. He said he wasn't truly improvising because he was using some of the same licks. He didn't, okay, well, let me clarify what he meant. He didn't mean that in that same solo he played the same 10 licks over and over and over again. He wasn't doing that. What he meant was, I've got this massive pool in my brain of phrases and licks that I can draw upon at any time. So I may take a phrase from one song and be able to use it in this song, even if the song is a different tempo, different key, different style, different rhythm, different genre, everything. Okay? He can easily transfer ideas that he knows from one source to another source on the spot. Now for him, in his mind, he's thinking, well, that's not truly improvising because I'm using some material that I already know from somewhere else. But for you, or whoever it was that answered that question, Pete should have just said, yes, I'm improvising, because he is. But what he meant was, I'm not creating everything from scratch because I have so much in autopilot mode. I'm so past and beyond having to think about even phrases that I can just do that. So he was being modest when he said, no, not really. It was his way of being modest and not saying, yeah, I'm so freaking good that, you know, peons like you people, you know, have to still think about stuff I don't have to think about anymore. He's such a modest person that he put it in a way that was almost putting himself down, like, nah, I wasn't really improvising. I wasn't really creating all that stuff from scratch. You know, I was, made it almost sound like I was cheating or something. I mean, he kind of puts it in that light, you know, to be the exact opposite of telling the real truth, which was, I'm so freaking good that I don't even think about the freaking phrases I play. That's how freaking good I am. I mean, that's really what was happening. So all he had to really do was take phrases he already knows and has played millions of times, and he may just simply need to adjust the rhythm, adjust the, for the key, the octaves he's in. He may harmonize those. So he's got so much of the conscious stuff that he has to think about isn't conscious anymore. Okay? And that's what we're talking about. We're removing stuff that we have to consciously think about so we don't have to. And what that does is that opens up everything to be free. Okay? And that's why when Pete plays, he's still thinking, but he's just thinking on higher and higher levels. Okay? He's thinking so far ahead. So he's not thinking about, here's a cool note, what do I do next? You know, he's not thinking about that at all. He's like, okay, I got these 3 phrases in the bag, what's gonna happen, you know, 15 seconds from now? Okay, so that's the level that, you know, everybody wants to be at. So you can go into any situation and just do it.
You need to be as conscious as possible of the chord change, try and hit flat to make us conscious.
Yeah, what you want to, I mean...
While practicing and while improvising, to make it more spontaneous.
Yeah, you want to be past the point of knowing, okay, do I have to concentrate on where the notes are, where the scale positions are, where the actual notes are under the fingers? Am I past that? Yes or no? If you're not past that, then that's the first thing you got to do. That's step 1. You got to get past that. Okay? Once you're past that, now you can play at a higher level. Because you're thinking on a higher level. All right? Now you can be thinking of, okay, instead of just running my fingers up and down the scale, hoping to get lucky most of the time that some of these notes are going to sound good and the rest will sound like passing tones or whatever. That's level 1. The next level is, well, now let's really focus on the chords. And that was the lesson in that ITC session that you mentioned, which is we got the basic fingering. Now let's focus on when a G chord is being played, what are the consonant pitches in the G chord? Okay, I can base phrases around those pitches as anchors. Okay, now eventually you're going to get to the point where you won't do that anymore. You won't necessarily base phrases around chord tones, around pitches of the chord. Okay, you'll probably want to get away from that. You may end your phrase, in fact, the master class tomorrow is exactly on this topic of not focusing on consonant pitches all the time to create phrases, but making it doing so in a good way where it's not just a bunch of dissonance or unresolved sounds that just don't sound good. Okay, so do it in a really cool way, artistic way, not in a I don't know what the hell I'm doing way, so that's why I didn't end the phrase on a note that's in the chord. Okay, so that's, you know, sort of another level. And we just keep going up this upward spiral of things that we have to think less and less about so we can think on higher and higher levels. And so mostly what we think about are expressive, creative things and not technical or music theory related things.